Welcome to Blip Shift Broadcasting, everybody. We are jumping into a skip barber race at the Gilles Villeneuve circuit in Montreal, Canada. We are looking at individual qualifying of the various drivers. And in about 8 minutes, we'll be ready to get started with the race. We have 19 drivers in this race. Formula Skip Barber is obviously one of the starter cars in iRacing and in auto racing in general. It's got a 2-liter engine. It uses fairly standard tires that take a little bit of heating up in the beginning, but usually it's fairly grippy right from the start. These cars have been remodeled by iRacing from their first version. This is a newer version. And they're a lot of fun to drive, especially if you're into open wheel racing and you want to go towards like Indy cars or Formula Renault 3.5 or that kind of stuff. This is a good training ground for drivers that want to go into open wheel racing. The track is the circuit of Gilles Villeneuve. The Formula 1 drives here. Indy cars have driven here. If I remember correctly, even NASCARs have driven here. It's a very nice track. It's a fairly long track. It doesn't have a whole lot of elevation. It's on a little island. It used to be an Olympic part of an Olympic city, and they've turned it into a semi-permanent racetrack. It's got some tricky corners like the one you're looking at right now. A chicane right before the main straight where you're coming from a very fast part, go down to like first or second gear to take that chicane, and obviously there will be some people that get in trouble there. So we're watching Matteo Ogalotti. His first lap was a 2-minute 8:70, and take a look here at Adrian Rodriguez. He took 7 seconds longer for his first lap. And most of these guys are still trying to get their outlap in, and you can see the cars drifting a little bit. You know, if you're an aggressive driver, this is a car that you can throw around a little bit and have a lot of fun driving. Looking at Martin Wallace here on his qualifying session. Drivers are still working on posting the time, getting over the curb pretty hard there. With a car like this, you can do that. If you have a faster open wheel car with the wider tires, you really don't want to go over those curbs that hard. Take a look at some of the other drivers. This is Tony Lynn. And this is Anthony Marinaccio. I hope I say that right. Don't want to abuse anybody's name. As I said, we're just jumping in this as a trial broadcast. Blip Shift Broadcasting is new. We're trying to establish us as a broadcaster reasonably priced for people that are organizing leagues or tournaments or whatever. And we hope to be able of service to be of service to you doing broadcasts. So I hope you like it. And in a couple of minutes, we'll get started with this skip barber race, and hopefully have a little bit of fun doing so. So Matteo Ogalotti that we looked at before, this is him. He's got number 1 car. He drove a 155.398. He's the fastest guy on the track at this moment. Of course, they're all individually on the track. iRacing does that to ensure that everybody gets a good shot at qualifying. You get 2 laps. You cannot have any offs or any X's or off tracks in those laps. It immediately disqualifies your time. So this is the second place driver at this point, Manu Lucetta. He ran a 155.5, only 0.2 of a second slower than Ugolotti. And in third place, it's Edward Torres. 155.56. So he's only 4 hundredths of a second slower than the second place car. So far, we have 10 drivers that posted a time. Obviously, some drivers do not want to qualify and start in the back. Just get started in this class and gain some experience and learn how to stay out of trouble. And then obviously there's also going to be some guys that, or gals even, that try to post laps and have too many X's, or at least one X disqualifies your time. So as I said, right now 10 people have posted a time, and the other ones you see on your screen have not yet posted a time. Excuse me. And this is Philip Gigliotti. He posted a time of 157.137, and at this point he is the slowest driver on the track. Slowest one that posted a time anyway. Edward Torres maneuvered himself in second position with a 154.7, and the provisional pole has been taken by Adrian Rodriguez with a 154.3. Ugolotti is in fifth now, and Daniela Forgiarini is in fourth. I guess I jumped into the Italian side of things, and that's okay. Here we see Daniel Watson taking the curbs very, very rough. He has posted a 156 so far, but I guess it didn't qualify as a time because he doesn't show on. Yes, he does. He shows in 11th position. So qualifying is over. We have about 30 seconds to go. The cars will grid up. We have Adrian Rodriguez on pole position and Edward Torres alongside him. So enjoy the scenery, folks. We're going to get busy here in a little bit. As said, the Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve is located in Montreal, Canada. It's one of the famous Formula One circuits. A lot of people like it a lot. No, not much elevation, but it's on a little, like I said, Olympic Island. It's very flat, but it's a very challenging track. It's got some fast parts. It's got some slow parts. It's got chicanes. It's got a hairpin. It's a very interesting track. Drivers are gridding up. There will be 13 laps of racing today. And as I said, you can see the order on the left of your screen there. Blipshift Broadcasting is proud to present this race just for fun. It's not part of any league. It's an official iRacing race, so people will be the people that are driving in this race will be gaining some iRating and safety rating if they do a good job. And we're just doing this as a trial broadcast so you can get an idea of Blipshift Broadcasting. So I'm wondering if this is going the way it's supposed to be going. I'm going to put you on hold here. All right, I'm terribly sorry we missed that start, but something went wrong on the technical end of things. We are looking at the third lap of 13, and it's Adrian Rodriguez that is leading the pack in this Skip Barber race. We missed the start. iRacing froze up on my end, and we'll have to see what happened there. And hopefully we won't have any of these problems again. So Rodriguez is pretty rough on those curves. He's got Manu Luchetto right behind him, less than a second. And third place, Edward Torres, about 1.3 seconds behind. So let's see if something develops up here. It looks like Lucetta is gaining a little bit on him. So it looks like Torres has lost the spot, and it looks like Triadani, I hope I say that right, has gained a spot since the start. We have people in the pits. Paz is in the pits, and Peckingham is in the pits. And see, he's back out again. And Oscar Lopez Paz is trying to get some repairs, obviously. So let's go back to the Martin Wallace here in 7th position. He is making good work of keeping up with number 6 position, Daniela Forgerini. Sorry about those names, guys. So anyway, he's hanging on in there pretty good. He's less than half a second behind him. We might see something develop right here. And then a little bit further back, we have Kevin Budgeon, and he is right behind some other drivers. They're fighting for the 10th and 11th position in that area. So they're pretty close together there. You can tell the number 14, Scott Bell, just passed Gilles Fernandez, Gilles Fernandez. And Fernandez is coming back. They're going side by side. Right now it's Scott Bell taking the lead there. Long straightaway here. They pretty much go all out, and then there'll be a pretty hard braking for that final chicane before the start-finish line. Oh, I would say pretty much right around where they are now. They hit the brakes pretty hard. You can see them wiggle around a little bit, running over the curbs, and then onto the main straight they go. So up front, it's Lucetta closing in a little bit on Rodriguez. He's not quite there yet, and it looks like both of these drivers are, hitting the curbs pretty hard, trying to make everything work for them. You can throw around this car pretty good. It's pretty forgiving. We have Triadani really working hard at Forgiarini right now. And Wallace is right there, and Watson, and they're pretty close together, all 4 of them. The 17 of Triadani leading this little group here, and Martin Wallace right behind him. And it looks like Triadani is taking a defensive line there, just covering up the inside. Going a little wide into the chicane, and that allows Wallace to get that nose underneath that wing, trying to get side by side towards the hairpin. Let's see if he can make a pass over there. All 3 of them really close together, and the number 8 of Wallace is being hit in the back by Mr. Watson. Unfortunately, that stuff happens as well if you're racing in close proximity like this. Let's go back up front real quick. Manu Lucetta is closing in some more on the leader, Rodriguez. Only 7/10 of a second behind. Going towards the start-finish line to start lap 6. They're coming on some neck markers there. Beckmarker moves out of the way. Very good. That's sportsmanship. All can appreciate that. Lucetta bouncing over those curves there. And he's having a little trouble sticking with it right now. Let's go back to Giordani. He's in the number 17 car following Daniel Watson. And that means that Watson has gained a position on him because he was behind there. Martin Wallace, who got the worst end of being run into, you can see his rear ring is a little crooked. It's probably not going to harm him that much. Like I said, these cars are pretty forgiving. They're not fast enough for the aero to really make a huge impact. So he should be okay and be able to finish the race that way. It's Giordani looking at Daniel Watson, bouncing over the curb again, going towards the hairpin here. Maybe he can make something happen. We have Marinaccio running pretty close to Kevin Budgeon. Let's go back to Giordani here real quick. There they are in the hairpin, and it looks like Watson's running a little wide. Maybe something happened there. Let's take a look at that. Well, Watson just kind of missed his braking point and went a little wide. And it's Giordani that almost got by him, but I guess Watson saved himself from the embarrassment there. Going towards the chicane. Giordani is close behind him. Not close enough to really make a pass. Both of them taking those curves pretty roughly. And so far, Watson's holding on to that 7th position. So let's go back up to the lead real quick. It's Rodriguez leading. It is Lucetta in 2nd place, still about the same distance behind. Then it's Torres in 3rd. It's Ugolotti in 4th, and it's Forgiarini in 5th. And that brings us back to Daniel Watson in 6th position, being followed by Giordani. And this is pretty much the best battle going on right now. We'll keep an eye on it for you. We have Marinaccio making good work of trying to get past Scott Bell. And we have Gigliotti closing in on Da Silva. Let's take a little look at Giordani and Watson. Watson taking a bit of a defensive line there towards another chicane. Under the bridge, on the brakes, right, left. He looks like he's a little bit more loose on the entry than Giordani. Wallace is catching back up with him, it looks like, and Tony Lynn is back there as well. And up front, it's still Lucetta following Rodriguez, and the distance is pretty much remaining. He gets a little closer under draft on that long straightaway. And, they take those curbs really, really rough. You would not get away with that with a bigger or faster open-wheel car. And back to Giordani and Watson. And same thing, Giordani gets a little bit closer in the draft. It looks like Watson is throwing it in that chicane a little bit better. And behind Watson, Giordani, it's Wallace in the distance there, followed by Tony Lynn. And we have a close battle here. It's Marinaccio passing Scott Bell. He's finally made it past there. Good job. Let's see if we can replay that. Yeah, outbrakes him in the left turn, and then right onto a short straight. Very well done. He's got the position, 11th position. Ooh, he almost loses it there on the curbs. Let's go back to Giordani behind Watson, still fighting for that position. And Wallace is definitely catching on to these guys. And he's kind of bringing Tony Lynn in there as well. In 10th position, we have Kevin Budgeon. Nice livery on that car, and Marinaccio is trying to shake Scott Bell right behind there and catch up with Kevin. And Scott Bell is coming back at Marinaccio. He's definitely giving him a run for his money here. And also very beautiful livery. And it looks like Marinaccio is running a little bit wide, giving Scott Bell opportunity to come alongside and fight for the position at the end of this straight. He'll be in the preferred line for that upcoming chicane. But it's going to take him a bit to get there. It's a long straight. It's a very long straight. It looks like he's got the position. He's edging ahead there. He's edging ahead. Okay, keep it clean, guys. Keep it clean. Very well done. And Scott Bell is in 11th position. Marinaccio is going to have to try his best to get it back. So let's take a look at Triadani again. He is being chased by Wallace now. He's kind of under pressure himself. And Lynn is also hanging in there in the back. Not quite caught up yet, but he's working on it. And it looks like Martin Wallace is putting some real good pressure on Triadani, and it kind of allows Watson to get away from him. Up at the front, it's still Rodriguez, and he's got some more distance on Lucetta right now. It is Torres in 3rd place. It's Ugolotti in 4th. It's Forgiarini in 5th. And then we get to Daniel Watson, who's gotten a little bit of breathing room there from Triadani, because Triadani is under pressure from Martin Wallace. And that's the battle for 7th position right now. And it looks like Scott Bell and Marinaccio has been at it again. And Marinaccio is taking 11th place back from Scott Bell. Good battles going on around the racetrack. And again, it's Marinaccio running a little bit wide, allowing Scott Bell to try and come alongside and give him a hard time. And a long straightaway. Let's see if we can run along here with Scott Bell. Oh, they're side by side. This is going to be very, very interesting. Very, very close together driving. Scott Bell is nosing ahead right now, but he's got the outside line for the turn. He makes it stick. He makes it stick. Very good. Well done. Well done. Well done. Marinaccio is right on his tail, and now it's also Nicholas Vaughan Roberts that's joining in there, and they're 3 wide going into turn 1. Let's see how this pans out. And it looks like Scott Bell has thought the better of it, just tugs in behind, and we'll wait for another opportunity. Marinaccio and Roberts are still side by side. It looks like Marinaccio has got the position right now. Nicholas Roberts is still chasing him hard, and it looks like Scott Bell is kind of keeping his distance here. He might be, waiting for something to go bad here, which would absolutely not be impossible. These are all ambitious young drivers that want to prove that they're good and that they can do it. And Nicholas Vaughan Roberts is nosing ahead of Marinaccio right now. This is close, good racing, very, very cool. So Roberts is ahead now, and it's Marinaccio in 12th, and it's Ewald Belwarrior that's interfering in here as well. He's taken 13th position from Scott Bell. This time it's Marinaccio on the inside line, trying to force Nicholas Roberts into a mistake. They're side by side again. That's Belwarrior on the outside of Vaughan Roberts into the chicane, and they all get through cleanly. Very nicely done. Now it looks like that's Kevin Bugden And it's Nicholas von Roberts that's pulled ahead. I apologize. It was Bell Warrior that was battling with Marinaccio. Marinaccio seems to have a little bit of connection issues there, which is always tricky for the driver behind because suddenly your opponent is there and suddenly he's not. Scott Bell's taken a bit of a precautious position in the back there, maybe waiting for something to happen. And up front, it looks like Lucetta is gaining back some ground on Rodriguez again. He's about a little bit less than a second behind him now. It was a little bit more just before. And Daniel Watson still ahead of Triadani. Triadani is being chased by Martin Wallace. They're getting a little closer together. And Scott Bell still chasing Marinaccio. Looks like there's a little bit more stretch in the field right now. But Scott Bell is still hanging in there. He wants that position back. Bell Warrior must have made a mistake because he dropped back a little bit. Oh, Marinaccio running a little bit wide on the entry, then pinching it in there, giving Scott Bell no room at all. Well, let's see if he can catch the draft and do something with it at the end of this long straightaway. It looks like Marinaccio is trying to pinch him down to the bottom. He's getting alongside. He's definitely nosing ahead right now. We have that chicane coming up. See if they can get through there cleanly. It looks like Bell's on the inside. Jumps over the curb, and he stays ahead of Marinaccio. Unfortunately, that Marinaccio, the number 18 car, is blinking a little bit. His connection's not great. Now he's back on the inside of Scott Bell, takes the position back. And Scott Bell will have to try again. That's good racing going on between these guys, that's for sure. Up front, Lucetta is still chasing down Rodriguez. It's a little bit more now. It's the second. And Triadani is trying to gain ground back on Martin Wallace again because Martin Wallace has passed him. And in 9th position, we have Tony Lynn still trying to catch up with these guys. Nicholas von Roberts is well away from Marinaccio, and Marinaccio is still trying to fight off Scott Bell. But these guys are doing a really good job. Haven't seen very many incidents. We've seen some guys go into the pits, but no major incidents, which tells me that, you know, this is good racing. These guys know what they're doing. They're giving each other room, and they're trying to keep it clean, and that's great. That's absolutely great. That's what it's all about. It's about good racing, respectfully racing, but racing hard, you know. And Scott Bell is doing a good job. He's nosing that car in there now, though, and it looks like Marinaccio gets off the turn a little bit better. Scott is getting alongside there. Same thing as the lap we saw before. He's on the inside going towards the chicane. He's nosing ahead of Marinaccio, and see how they spend that, trying to catch the draft there. And they're coming up to the chicane, bouncing over the curbs again, and he's got a little distance on Marinaccio now, and it's Bell Warrior going after Marinaccio now. He caught back up again. He dropped back a little bit earlier, but he's back up there. So up here in 5th position, we have Forgerini. He's past Watson. Watson's dropped back a little bit, and Wallace has passed Triadani. He's in 7th position now. So Triadani lost the position to Wallace. Tony Lynn still following that bunch, that duo over there. And Scott Bell has made work of Marinaccio. He's passed him. We saw that earlier. And Marinaccio has got Bell Warrior to worry about. In fact, Bell Warrior is giving him a pretty hard time there. Marinaccio's got to be a little bit careful because that blinking always can cause a problem. The guy behind you cannot always see you when he needs to see you. Hopefully we won't have any major problems there. Let's take a look at Belwarrior. I hope I pronounced his name right. He's getting alongside. He's going to be on the outside for the hairpin. Maybe you can cut under. And he's definitely trying, so he's getting into the draft of Marinaccio. Marinaccio forces him onto that curve over there. You can get stuck on that grass. It can offset the balance of the car, and it can send you spinning. He's trying to catch the draft now, going towards the chicane. Marinaccio taking a defensive line. He's going to the outside. He gets alongside, but it'll be on the outside. So let's see what happens here. They're giving each other good room. This is good racing. My compliments to these drivers. It's very good. So we missed the finish, actually. It's so much fun to watch these guys race that we did not see Rodriguez catch the checkered flag in first position. It's Manu Lucetta in second. Nothing changed up there. Edward Torres in third. Ugolati in fourth. Forgerini in fifth. Watson took sixth. Martin Wallace took seventh. Triadani in eighth. Lynn ninth. 10th is Scott Bell. Did a good job. Marinaccio takes 11th. And Belwarrior takes 12th. This was the Skip Barber race at Montreal at the Gilles Villeneuve race. We're watching some of the final guys get to the finish line. And there they are, and they're desperate to make it. And that's our race for tonight. We hope you enjoyed it. We had some good battles on track. This is Blip Shift Broadcasting. Find us on Facebook. If you're interested in broadcasts that are affordable for your league, give us a shout. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you next time.